So, Dave, I've got a trivia question for you.
Oh, perfect. I love trivia.
About the show that we're on. Here's your first trivia. Your first trivia question. Actually, I'm going to use one.
I already know the answer.
You do?
Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, here's your trivia question about Six Unseemly Questions. Who was our first guest?
Oh my God, that's easy. George Washington.
On the do you actually not know who our first guest was on the show, Dave?
Wasn't it like in 1987? It was a long time ago.
The answer was Anthony Kapfer.
I remember.
The answer is this is the show you're on. You're the co-host of the show.
I remember Anthony Kapfer was our first guest on the show.
Okay, so
at your house when we used to do the show at your home.
Yes, the details are coming back. I can see it. All right, so
and I remember using the bathroom.
Yeah, great job, Dave. I want people to look us up at unseemlyquestions.com, and we're at Six Unseemly on all social media. Let's get this show started.
Six Unseemly Questions!
Welcome to Six Unseemly Questions. I'm your host, Victor Varnado. This is my sidekick, Dave Rosinsky. We've got a great contestant on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for John Mina Sarah.
Whoa!
There he is.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, John. How's it going?
It is wonderful. I am full of roast beef, and life couldn't be better.
That is wonderful.
Full of roast beef, and you couldn't be better?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how the show works, and then we're going to get started. You ready?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you 6 unseemly questions. At the end of each question, I will ring a bell if I like your answer like this. However, if I do not like your answer, I will not ring the bell, and I'll tell you why. Regardless of how many bells you get at the end of the show, I will decide whether or not it's worth giving you $5 for being on the show. Make sense?
Yep. Good thing I have no problems with rejection.
All right. Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's bring in the studio audience. Rachel Teichman.
What? She's here?
Occurrence, but we do.
Wow, what a surprise. Rachel?
Hi. Welcome, Rachel. Thanks for reminding me. We usually Rachel isn't part of the studio audience, but today we had some of our guests who couldn't make it, so Rachel is in the studio audience. So
Rachel Ubered over here? Rachel, you took an Uber or you took the train?
I took both, actually.
All right. Dave, I have a question for you. This is an honest question.
Okay, please.
Why do you do that?
Ask Rachel how she got to the show.
No. Why do you derail every conversation? Is there a reason?
Wait, do you mean derail because I said, did you take the train here?
Dave. All right. It is time to ask you your first question. Here is your first question, John. Who do you have a crush on?
All right. I really, really love Tia Sarkar. A lot of people have seen her, but probably don't notice her. She was Vicky on The Good Place. And she was Vicky
on A Good Place.
Yeah,
which character is Vicky?
She was one of the demons. She was the one that had the rivalry with Michael. And she was like the first. She was like one of the first demons revealed, right? Yeah, and she made it all the way to the end of the show too. She actually, yeah.
What about Vicky the Robot? You ever like Vicky the Robot?
No, because she was a child. Even though when I started watching it, I was a child too.
Right. That's the only time it would be appropriate to like
that
Vicky the Robot.
But no, I'm not generally into synthoids.
Well, I will say that I'm going to give you a bell on this question, and I'll tell you why. It is probably, I wasn't with the bell until the end when you casually threw out the word synthoid. So I was just like, you know what? I'm sold.
She also has a huge connection to Star Wars.
She does.
How so?
She was the voice of She was the voice of one of the main characters in Star Wars Rebels.
That's vague enough for me.
I thought you were going to say she had the Dagobah place at
Sabine. She was the voice of Sabine, one of the Mandalorians in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, cool.
Sabine. Got it. All right. Yeah. And then was that character was the one with the crazy hair, right? She had like a bunch of crazy hair and she drew on stuff with spray paint.
Yeah,
she was like the spray painting rebel Mandalorian like teenager. She was like so rebellious. She spray painted stuff. I think that's really funny that's like one of her character traits is that she spray painted stuff like that.
She wasn't on the last
in the
season
Star
of
Wars
Mandalorian,
universe,
right?
What?
Yeah,
Was she on the last season of Mandalorian? The two Mandalorian women who.
No, that
No.
one was she. That one was in Rebels too, but
They were in the Clone Wars too.
yeah,
Both of them.
But Sabine wasn't. Sabine, I mean, it'd be nice if they put her in Mandalorian.
We'll see what happens on.
Yeah, we'll see what
3,
happens. All right, John, it is time for question number 2. But before we do that, can you tell people out there what you do?
Right now, I am an aspiring writer. Since COVID hit, before that, I was doing stand-up comedian. But my day job is I'm a mental health screener.
Okay, a mental health screener. How are Dave and I doing so far, mental health wise?
You think we're crazy,
Good.
bro?
No, but you got to understand, my bar for crazy is really high.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask you what that kid is doing face down on your couch? I just see 2 pairs of little shoes pointing downwards over there. Is there a kid under there by any chance?
No, you're
All right. I'm just asking.
You're doing some kind of Rorschach association thing.
It's a small screen. That's just what I see.
You're hallucinating a child.
Oh, okay, cool. Mental health screening, bro. Nice.
It is time for question number 2. Question number 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nerdy are you?
Well, there's this. I've seen.
For people who are just listening to the
Oh yeah,
version,
I pointed to my
John
shirt.
is-
I'm wearing a Star Wars Rebels shirt with gold lame.
Yeah, he's wearing a Star Wars. It's the rebel symbol in gold lame
Yes.
on a black shirt. Okay, yeah. So I don't know how that translates to numbers though.
Oh, you want a flat out number? I would say 10. I really can't think of
10.
That's
You're
really
the
nerdy.
You're a
nerdiest.
full on 10.
You know, because listen. I hold on a second. All right, there are people who live their whole lives as Pokemon from day like all day. They're like a Pokemon. Okay, so I'm saying that if you're going to say 10, that's a big number.
Yeah.
I think that crosses a line into the mental health part of my job, though.
Oh, so you're just saying anybody who's more nerdy than you is crazy. I mean, but there are people who are probably less nerdy than you who look at you and say, you know, that guy.
You know, Mike Lawrence.
Yes,
he's very nerdy. You'd say that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Mike Lawrence. He's a great comedian. He loves comic books. He talks about the characters like they're real people.
Yes, he said. Yes, he said I was nerdier than him.
Wow,
so I thought that was an endorsement.
Really nerdy. That is really nerdy.
That sounds pretty nerdy.
Did you ever own Encyclopedia Britannica?
I didn't, but we had them.
You read them, but you had them. It's close enough.
Yeah, I read them. When I was little, my grandmother subscribed to Smithsonian magazine, and I would read it cover to cover every month.
Cool.
As a kid.
All right, so I'm gonna say on that Nobel, I'll tell you why. Because you said 10, I don't think you're at a 10. I think there's people beyond you nerdy wise. I mean, I think you're very nerdy, yes, but 10 is like that's a long way to go.
You got to work on your nerd game, bro.
I want to see these people though. I mean, I'm not like arguing. It's just I want to see the people that out nerd me, because that's.
I've seen when I was working on a show that I created. I guess it's weird to say that because I don't think of the things that I make as like creations as much as things that I just enjoy making. So when I made Realm of LARP, I went out and LARPed with people, and there were people who were LARPing like me. I could go out and LARP. Like if people wanted to go out and LARP for like a weekend, I would be 100% down. But then there's people who LARP every day, and then there's people who are their characters all the time, for day in and day out. So there's like many different levels, and then there's like sex LARP. There's a bunch of stuff that's happening out there that delves down into a hole, which is way closer to 10 than I think you are.
Do you know any level 10?
Salient points. I know a lot of LARPers. I know SCA people, and there's a lot of crossover in that Venn diagram between LARPers and Society for Well, the fact that I don't know that I can't remember what SCA stands for, I guess disqualifies me from 10.
Yeah, and you know what? I should know because when I was researching LARPing, I learned all that stuff, and it was on the tip of my tongue all the time. But I've lost it from out of practice. What?
I think it's chronal anachronisms, something like that. Society for
the Society for Creative Anachronisms. SCA. It's a joke in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So all right, you win that one. I am not a 10.
Okay. Well,
you're a 9. You're a perfect 9.
Actually, time for question number 3. Question number 3. What was the most surprising response to your cancer?
The most surprising response was, especially since I know so many comedians, was that nobody said I deserved it.
What? Did people say that?
No, but you know how comedians are. You know, at least somebody's going to go like, finally, or, good for you. Like somebody's going to say something because that's what comedians are,
I feel like they're I think for anybody to make a joke to you about your cancer, it would have to be A, a close friend who is B, a very good comedian as well.
Yeah.
Like they would both have to be part of the equation. Because it's a I would say it was a tightrope to walk that, to make jokes to people.
What about doctors who make those jokes? They're allowed, right? Doctor jokes.
I wish they made more jokes.
Because the doctors make. I don't know where Dave is coming from. I feel like you're imagining like clowns who visit cancer patients in doctor suits, and maybe that's what you're thinking are the doctors making jokes.
Patch Adams. Do you think they're all Patch Adams?
Yeah, are you thinking Patch Adams, Dave?
No, I was thinking of like doctors hanging out and being like, "Oh, another pap smear of cream cheese," and they're like, "You always do that joke."
You think that doctors hang out and just do medical puns?
Yes. While they eat bagels.
That's 30% of medical school. Oh God!
Like, you always do the same joke.
The most surprising thing, I think, honestly, all right. So after that one, that nobody made a insulting joke, the most surprising thing was how genuinely concerned people were. Like, because it's like one thing because comedians aren't really good at showing emotions, but people who maybe this says more about me, but I was really shocked how much support I got. That's cool. From so many people, so many people I hadn't talked to in years, and people I do talk. It was just the outpouring of support, and people who were like, "You're really funny." I'm like, "Well, why didn't you ever put me on your show?" I wanted to say that so many times, but I kept it to myself because I'm like, "You're putting money in my GoFundMe, so I'm not going to bring that up right now." But I did have a lot of, if I'm so funny, why did I have such a? Can I
that's terrible. You know what that is? That's the same thing. Like when people it's the same thing that happens at funerals. Like when people just only say nice things about people at funerals.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I never like that. Like that whole don't speak ill of the dead. I'm like, no, if that person sucked, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Who cares about Napoleon these days? Hey, minus everything's good now. I don't know the story, but are you okay?
Oh yeah, I had myeloma. My neck was broken. They fixed it. I'm fine.
Oh wow. All right, cool. Yeah, you look good, man.
Yeah, I had all of it. I'm in total remission. I don't have it anymore.
Great.
All right, so I'm gonna say that gets a bell.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay, because who am I not to bell a cancer survivor? What kind of a jerk would I be? If I was like, no bell.
And I'm gonna milk that until the day I die.
Wow, I'm surprised Victor's so nice.
I went to the Gilda Radner Comedy Festival, and because Gilda was a cancer survivor, but the thing at the Gilda Radner Comedy Festival is a lot of people who run the comedy festival are all cancer survivors. So when I first, ladies and gentlemen, it's Eddie Pepitone out on the road doing his thing.
Welcome.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey. Is it happening now?
Yes, it's been happening for a while.
This is the show.
Oh my God. So I'm sorry. I had the wrong time, I guess.
Yeah, let's finish up this current question there, John. What were we just talking about? Does anybody remember?
I don't remember.
No idea.
Something about going online and making friends.
Yeah, you know what? Well, we're talking about not talking ill of the dead.
Nerds. Something about nerds.
We did. Oh, you were talking about the Gilda Radner.
Oh, yeah, that's okay, right.
So when I went to the Gilda Radner Comedy Festival, Gilda Radner, she was a survivor of cancer, and then a lot of the people who volunteer at the comedy festival were survivors of cancer as well. And so I would go. And when I went to the festival, and the person who greeted us at the airport told us this amazing story of her survival from cancer, and I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! You know, congratulations! You're so strong. That's amazing." But then that's what every person who was an assistant at the festival did, because they all were survivors of cancer. So they just kept telling cancer survival stories over and over. And I was like, that is also amazing. And the next one, I was like, yeah, that is amazing. But then after a while, I was like, okay, got it. You're still here. I'm gunning for you. Please, where's the bar? Thank you.
You got cancer survivor fatigue?
Yes, I did. All right. So I think it's time for question number 4. Your question number 4, John, here we are, is what will make you stop playing Pokemon Go?
I'd have to be in a relationship that I thought was really going somewhere, and she would have to threaten to leave me. And you know what? It would have to be more than her threatening to leave me. She'd have to threaten to leave me and take our hypothetical children, and then I might stop.
What about a relationship with the Lord? No, that would.
Pokemon Go brings me more joy than the Lord.
Would you really want to spend your life with someone whose condition is making you stop playing Pokemon Go?
Exactly. I mean, excellent point.
Wow. Okay. I can see that you both really care about Pokemon Go more than, like, say, normal socialization.
Also, when I was in chemo, when I had my surgery, I was in the hospital a few times. I had chemo, I had surgery, and I had a stem cell transplant. Each of those 3 times, my biggest regret was that I kept missing community days and couldn't catch special Pokemon that were only available on those days.
This is a lot of Pokemon terminology that I don't understand.
That's really what you were focused on at the time?
I understand.
I get it that you understand, Rachel, but you're like, what, 13 years old? But other than that,
Rachel's 12.
Other than that, like, I just do not understand it.
Well,
so I'm going to say no bell, all right? Because you inhabit a world that I do not want to learn about.
That's good. I would recommend avoiding it because it sucks you in, and then you're just not well after that.
You have 2 more questions left of your 6 questions. It is time for question number 5. Question number 5. Tell me about a time when you were a coward.
I consider myself to be pretty brave. I mean, I'm no hero, but I've been called one.
Mm-hmm.
I was a coward. All right, this is a little dark, but I haven't been back to my mother's grave because I'm afraid to face those issues. And I feel like that's cowardly.
Maybe it is. I mean, I guess you're the one who ultimately gets to decide that, but that is actually quite poignant. You know what? I'm going to say a bell on that question.
Definitely.
I'll tell you why you get a bell. It's because when you started explaining, like, oh, I'm not afraid of anything, I was just like, what is this guy gonna do? But then you came in with something that felt like it really meant something. That is worth the bell, I would say. Great answer.
It does bother me. It does bother me, but I'm not. Yeah, it's a lot.
I can understand that it might be. I hope that someday that you get the courage that you blah blah blah. You get the rest. Okay, it's time for question number 6. Question number 6. What's your favorite street joke?
I think I really like your mother's so fat when she sits around the house, she sits around the house.
That's a good one too.
That's your favorite street joke? This is not a joke that they did on, like, Fat Albert, like, back in the day. Like, that's like. Well,
it might have been. It was something I heard when I was young, and it just stuck with me. I think that maybe why it's because at that point in my life, it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
All right. You know what I'm going to say?
Stuck in my head that way.
I'm going to say no bell because Fat Albert made me think of Bill Cosby and boo for Bill Cosby. So no bell on that question. Well, we've asked all 6 of your questions, so now it's time to decide whether or not you get $5. But before we do that, can you tell people out there where they can find you?
Oh, I have a blog. It is called Exit 11. It's at exit11.blogspot.com, and I've been writing for 20, 30 years. So there's lots of short stories, opinion articles. Like, you really get to know me on there. I'm also on Twitter at Don Coyote, one word. And I have a Facebook page, John Alter Negro Minus. That was the name of my podcast. And the Septicomics, which is me and my friends who
forgot that I was doing them. Sorry.
You heard Eddie explaining that he forgot he was doing the podcast.
No,
all right.
That's fine. Yeah, that was my light, and I will take the cue.
All right, so that's great. So now it's time to decide whether or not you get $5. What we do is we canvass the room. What do you think, first of all, Dave? What do you think, first of all, Dave? Do you think that John should get $5?
I do think he should get $5. He answered all the questions really well. I love that he has a Decepticomics thing going on. I'm all about that 1984 Transformers stuff. So my vote is yes.
Okay, your vote is that yes, he should get $5. What do you think, Eddie? Should John get $5? I know you only saw him answer 3 questions, but what do you think? Should he get $5?
I think it's insulting that you are even asking this question. $5 buys absolutely nothing in today's world.
Coming in hot.
Why are you wasting? You're wasting everybody's time. Do you think he should get $5? If you make it something like 50 or 100, it would be worth an answer. Other than that, go yourself.
100,000.
I will remind you that Eddie Pepitone has just displayed that he is at a certain level in his life where $5 mean nothing. So to those of you out there where $5 means everything, my apology on behalf of Eddie Pepitone.
$5 means everything to you. You need to get a gun. Something.
Now, Rachel, what do you think? Should John get $5?
So there's no such thing as enough remote raid passes. So yes, give him $5.
John, what do you think? You've heard from the room. What do you think? Should you get $5?
Yeah, because I actually do need those remote raid passes.
All right, you get $5. Congratulations. You won $5 on the show. You're a great contestant. We just got to wrap it up really quick here. So, Dave, what did you learn on this week's show?
I learned that the $5 means nothing today, and no longer has any value on our show. Everyone comes to play for the $5, but I guess it's meaningless at this point. So, what's the point of even having the show?
He really went high in his
Is this show really based on $5?
Oh yeah, welcome to the show, Eddie.
Yes,
welcome to the show. Here comes your chance to win $5. You're up next.
So just check us out, please, at unseemlyquestions.com and at Six Unseemly on all social media.
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.